August 26, 1920, women were granted the right to vote. August 6, 1965, minorities were able to freely vote. We have parents and grandparents that fought and died for this seemingly common privilege, a privilege that in our parents' lifetime was not always a reality. Exercise your right to vote, so the fight wasn't in vain.
Welcome to my channel. How are y'all today? I'm sitting here with the kids and we're talking about voting because November 6, 2018, that's our midterm elections. And so this is so important for changes to happen because we're voting in people into office that are going to be, they're going to be the spokesperson for the majority of the people. So I decided we would sit down and talk about voting today with the kids because it's important to know from childhood all the way up why it's important to vote. So who knows what voting is? Okay, each one of y'all, you can tell me. So I'll start with Jade. Tell me what is voting?
You vote what you want.
You vote what you want. All right, now tell me what voting is.
Voting is when somebody wants the other thing when you want something else, so you're gonna have to vote it, and whoever has the higher score gets it. Whoever has the lowest score doesn't get it.
So majority wins. And what about you?
Voting is a process of, like a president, if someone wants to vote for Donald Trump and someone wants to vote for Hillary Clinton, so
that was our last election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton.
And some people will more likely vote for Donald Trump, and some people will more likely vote for Hillary Clinton.
Well, in that election, because we're in the United States, it's electronical ballot, so electoral. And so what it is that a certain percentage of the states have a certain amount of vote. So it's not popular vote like in most situations. This one is if the majority in one state, then the whole state votes that way, even though it might have just been one person difference. Because there was a one person difference, the whole state said that they voted this way, even though that might not be actual because it's not based off of popular vote, which is what we're most used to when we're coming up and we're making decisions just in our household. So let's say in before 1920, women were not allowed to vote. Exactly. So that means if I said we're going to vote for Chick-fil-A or Jersey Mike's, who wants Chick-fil-A? And who wants Jersey Mike's? Okay, well, since you two are girls, you don't actually get a say in the whole situation. So we're going with Jersey Mike's. Is that fair?
No.
Why shouldn't your opinion matter?
Because you're supposed to have the higher score, not the lower score, because that's not fair.
Yeah, because what you think matters, right? Just because you're a girl doesn't mean your point isn't valid, right? So here's another situation. So in the 1800s, everyone was actually, all men, including black men, were allowed to vote. However, they made certain requirements so that, is she about to sweep now? Okay, well, have at it. Keep sweeping. Go ahead and sweep. Take a seat. But in the 1800s, all men were allowed to vote, black and white and Native Americans. But what happened was that they made stipulations so that, take a seat, they made stipulations so that you had to have a literacy check, You had to have identification. There were certain things that you had to check off boxes, and so it was a way of controlling people because many African Americans at that time did not know how to read. While they might have had an opinion on who won an election, they couldn't voice it because they didn't know how to read and they couldn't pass the literacy check. So in 1965, which was not that long ago, because at that point Grammy was only 19 years old.
19?
Grammy was 19 years old when she would have been, well, she actually wasn't even allowed to vote at that point either, because at that point it was still 21. In 1970s, 18-year-olds were allowed to vote. But she was 19 when 21 and over, all Americans, black or white, were allowed to vote. So how would you like if we did a similar scenario? Who wants vanilla ice cream and who wants cookies and cream? So raise your hand if you want cookies and cream. Y'all all wanted cookies and cream? Well, guess what? You don't get a choice because you're not white. You're black. Is that fair? You don't get a choice in the ice cream that you want because of the color of your skin? That's crazy, isn't it? How do you feel about that?
Mad.
You're mad? Yeah.
Throw them out the window.
Well, we don't have to go there, but of course, that's just not fair. And so still, they even have laws now where there's children who grew up in this country, but because their parents weren't born here and they were brought here as little kids, they're not allowed to vote, even though this is the only home they know of.
Mommy.
Still today.
Mommy. What if black people had to vote and the white people didn't, and the white people wanted vanilla and the black people wanted cookies and cream, and they got it? That wouldn't be fair.
Right. What you're talking about is called. Yes.
Didn't you hear of how
But
you have to have a mailbox or an address to vote, and if you live on a reservation,
who
you don't have a
screamed?
mailbox,
Mm-hmm.
PO box.
Somebody screamed, Mama.
Exactly. So here, another form of control, because it shouldn't matter about an address, right? You're a person and you have an opinion. And if we're trying to make it so that everybody is satisfied with the way the country is ran, then that should be the standard, right? But what you were talking about, Jalen, is called the golden rule.
The golden rule?
Yep. The golden rule, which we should all follow daily, right? It's where we do to others what we want them to do to us. So if we want someone to be kind, we be kind to them. We treat others kindly, so they'll treat us kindly. So as you can see, I think this conversation's over. They've got the point.
We have to do one thing. We have to show them our plans to do the orange justice and floss. And like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. We'll end it at that.